We are live.
O Lord, our Lord, how excellent is your name in all the earth. Before we ask you for a thing, we just say thank you. Thank you because you're good, and thank you because you're God. Thank you because there's nobody like you in all the earth. So we lift you tonight, and we say thank you. Thank you because you've kept us all year long. No hurt, harm, or danger has come upon us. And for that, Father, we say thank you. Thank you because you've kept our minds all year long. You kept our families all year long. And for that, Lord, we say thank you. You're our God, and there's nobody like you. You're our King, and there's none like you. Come on. Yes, Lord, there's nobody like you, Father, and we lift our voices in the sanctuary, and we open our mouths, and we say thank you. Thank you because you are our Rapha. You're our healer. Thank you because you are Nisi, our banner. Thank you because you're Jireh, our provider. So we just came into your house tonight to say thank you because you are good and there's none like you in all the earth. Now, Father, in the name of Jesus, we are coming humbly before you, and we're coming seeking the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We're seeking the God that put rivers in the wilderness. We're seeking the God that's kept us before, so we know you're going to do it again. We're seeking the God that's healed us before, so we believe that you're going to do it again. We're seeking the God that just speaks our world into existence. So we say thank you because you're our God. You're our great God. You're the God that will never leave us high and dry. You're the God that never fails. You're the God that never quits. You're the God that will never throw in the towel. So this evening we open our mouths and we say thank you. Thank you because you're our God. Thank you because it's not like you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you because you keep keeping us. Thank you because you keep making ways for us. Thank you because you keep opening doors for us. Thank you because you keep making ways out of no ways. And we say thank you. Thank you because there's nobody like you. Thank you because you keep keeping us, and you alone are worthy of the glory. You alone are worthy of the honor. You alone are worthy of the praise. And we'll give it to you freely tonight. We'll give you the glory. We'll give you the honor. We'll give you the praise. You don't have to beg for it because you're good. You don't have to ask us for it because you made ways before. You don't have to beg us to give you praise. All we came equipped with tonight is our memory and a praise. We have our memory because we know you made ways before, and we have a praise because we know you're going to make ways again. Now, God, in the name of Jesus, yes, Lord, all of these prayer requests and the ones that are coming, we thank you that you are the God that will make rivers in the wilderness. You are the God that will heal bodies. You are the God that will keep minds. You are the God that will turn lives around. You are the God that will save. So for that tonight, we say thank you. We thank you that we will be able to say that July 30th was the day. July 30th was the day that I wrote my request down and God made a way for me. July 30th was the day that I wrote my request down and God healed my body. July 30th was the day that I wrote my request down and God moved on my behalf. We stand in faith with every person that's watching. We stand in faith with every person that's here, and we say, God, do you. God, do your work. And when we leave this place, we'll be able to say that God's got me and I've got this. No matter what it is we're going through, we have a testimony tonight and we can say God's got me and I've got this. I don't care what the hurdle or the obstacle is. God's got me and I've got this. No matter what it is that I'm faced with, I'm able to leave here saying God's got me and I've got this. No! He's got me in the palm of his hand. He's got me in the middle of his will. God's got me and I've got this. Hallelujah. Father, we bless you and we believe it and we call it done now. 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 In the name of Jesus. Yes, Lord. We call it done now. In Jesus' name. If you believe that he heard your prayer this night, hallelujah. Father, we bless you.
It would help. It would help if you could hear me. It would help if you could hear me. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Elrico Arion, and thank you for tuning in to another creatively structured episode 2. I am honored to be your co-host. This is not my show. This is not my idea. I am honored to be here because of one that is truly working hard in the industry, y'all. One that decided he was gonna hear from God and he was gonna go for what he knew. I couldn't be prouder. And so I guess I'll go ahead and introduce myself real quick. I am Elrico Ariana. I'm Mr. Boss. I'm the West Creative. I am one. I'm the one. I'm the architect. I'm the one to put your brand together. I'm the one to design for you. I'm the one to make your vision and your brand come to life. We're going to work until we get it, and we're not going to stop until we do. But listen, now give it up for one and the only, the anointed, the elder, well, the prophet. Give it up for creative Guru Kai himself. Everybody put your hands together.
Thank you, Rico, for that amazing introduction. All those titles. Wow. I am just a creative who answered a call that God gave me to help creatives who are very left brain people, who are very creative in nature, who sometimes have a reputation for being inconsistent, to learn that there is a side of us that can be administrative as well. And that if we don't have those skills and those tools, we can figure out where to get them, or we can hire people who can help us to do that. And so that's how this whole creatively structure was brought about. Knowing that sometimes those of us, whether it's graphic design, whether it's multimedia, whether it's music, whatever in the arts or creativity field that we do, we got to bring some structure to it so that we can have longevity in this thing. So that's what I'm all about. And I'm really excited on tonight. We're going to have some amazing guests. One of our guests, Nicole, is not with us tonight. We're going to keep her lifted in prayer, but she will be on the next installment that we do. She was really upset that she couldn't be a part, but we're going to look forward to having her and hearing that side about the music industry from her at a later date. But on with me tonight, I have two of the most trusted voices in my life. One, of course, is my mother, for those of you who don't know, who has an expertise in the industry of administration, business office management. So she's really going to breathe some life into what we talk about as far as structure administration. And tonight we're going to focus a little bit, we're going to hone in on time management. Um, And so she has a background in that. She's an expert when it comes to HR, when it comes to administration, documentation, paperwork. So she's going to speak to us from that place. The other, Sir Adrian Jones, he is so many things, like the introduction that I received. Besides being a prophet and a man of God, a pastor, in that right, in the marketplace, and a preacher, he is an expert when it comes to multimedia, from graphic design to production. And I've been honored to work with him for a few years now and see the greatness that he has, and that he pours his heart into everything that he does. And as a serial entrepreneur, he definitely has some expertise in that area of having to bridge the world of being a creative, as well as being an administrator and having structure to it. So we're going to have some fun tonight. This platform is a really relaxed platform, and we can have a discussion, very open and honest discussion about just what it means to add structure. Most of my guests have achieved a place to where they have it, but we talk about being in a place where we didn't. And so we speak to you from a place that we understand that we've been. We've had to find tools. As I said on the last session, all of us don't have massive teams of people. Some of us are party of one. And so you have to learn how to be all things. And so we're just going to have a really informative conversation. I told you guys, I always give you goals. Our goal tonight is that you leave here saying, I have to manage my time better. You walk away saying, I do this really great, but I need to make some adjustments in this area. So we're going to talk about structure and time management. So I'll open up and I'll let our guests say hello and greet you guys, and then we'll go into our definitions. Let's start with Prophet Adrian.
Well, what's up, creatively structured audience? It's such a pleasure to join you and be with you. I am Sir Adrian Jones, aka the Brand Genius. I am the CEO and creative director of Marked Multimedia, where we mark you for your industry. So we work with hundreds of even thousands of brands to help to push them, promote them, and present them properly to the world. And I'm excited to jump into this conversation with my brother and all of these other wonderful creatives.
All right. And then we're going to hear from, again, my mom, the woman who birthed me physically, Chandra Mitchell.
Hi everyone. So I am Shanti, just like he introduced. I kind of have my hands in a little of everything. Again, helping with far as HR, um, getting you out there, taking care of resumes, being structured. I even take care of accessorizing. I accessorize your needs, in different positions.
Okay, we got a little echo going there. Hold on just a second.
Just tell mom to turn down. Turn her phone all the way down or whatever device she's using. Turn it all the way down.
Mhm.
Mom, talk. You can unmute yourself, but talk. Let's see what happens. Okay, now mute yourself. Now talk.
Hello?
No, no, no. Don't unmute yourself. Talk. Kai.
Can you hear me?
Hey, yes, we can.
Okay, good.
Perfect. All right, go for it.
Okay, so I've been in the industry for human resources for over 20 years. Actually, my first job was in human resources. So I love to help people develop themselves, um, to help find out what career is best for them. As far as outside, as far as inside, talking, ask them how they feel, what they like to do in their life. I don't want someone to just jump into a business or into an industry and it's something they don't like. I feel like whenever you start a business or you're in the industry, it should be something that you enjoy, almost like a ministry. So that way you can build on that and you will be successful because it's something that you're really into. It's something that's your baby. It's something that you're building. As well as I try to talk to the young ladies, help them how to dress, how you would dress for your interviews, how you would dress to go before someone else. So you can be appropriate and people and look at your appearance and look, they'll look beyond sometimes your education that you may have. So those are just some little things that I'm into, as well as I do have a jewelry and accessory business.
All right.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
like I told y'all, we got some people that know some things in here.
We got some heavy hitters tonight, girl. You did your job.
um, so I want to start off. We kind of our pattern. We did that last week. Is to start off with the definition of a thing, because before we know what we need to know as far as to be able to achieve a goal and what a thing is, we have to understand the definition. So we'll start with structure. Again, structure is the arrangement of and relations between parts or elements of something that's complex. So the smaller pieces of something that is more complex. Or as a verb, structure is the construct or arranging of something according to a plan or a pattern. So there's a noun as far as this is a structure, and then there is a verb of this is how you structure.
There's a
Um,
thing, and then there's a description.
yes. And then our second definition is strategy. So strategy is a plan of action or policy designed to achieve a major goal or an overall aim. And I love this one just because I love definitions and things that are a little different. It's the art of planning and directing an overall military operation and movements in a war or a battle. And I love that because it gives a tone of seriousness to what we're doing, because at the end of the day, whether it's business or marketplace as a whole, you should go into something with a military mindset of I'm going in to take over, to dominate what I do in this field. And so it is a battle to create something unique and to stand alone. So just really quickly, I'll start with Sir Adrian again. How do you feel about that definition of structure and strategy? Or do you have your own definition from your experience?
Being a creative, honestly, when I started really discovering creativity and the freedom in it, I really didn't care for the word structure, because a lot of times when you hear creative and the freedom of that, it's not understood that that doesn't come without boundaries, or that doesn't come without the word structure, or different things being placed in a position in order to help you get accomplished and or to help you win. And so my experience with that was a little bucking, but when I really started to understand that it was for my advantage to understand structure, to understand that certain um, challenges were not challenges to defeat me, but there were challenges because it just came with the territory. And so that's so yeah, I dig with structure now because it helps to save time. It helps you to maximize and increase your monies. It helps you to be more present with your family, with other different goals that you have in life. You know, when you properly have different things structured.
I completely agree. It's kind of what we talked about last time. It's something about us as creatives that when we hear structure, it just makes us itch and we feel boxed in. And we're really, really, really going to hone in on that tonight, because I want to preface this by saying structure will not look the same for everyone.
Sure.
There's no
Right.
cookie cutter. So we're giving you tools and strategies, and one may work for you better than the other, because your business and what you do in your creativity is not one lane and the same.
Absolutely.
So then the structure for such is not the same. However, structure is critical for creativity. It's not the enemy of creativity.
Yeah.
And I would argue that good structure um, can support what you do and also support your mental health in the process of what you do and reduce pressure. And so I gave our guests a little homework. So Rico's going to ask some of our questions that we have, and it's going to kind of lead us into the topic of conversation for today.
Yeah, absolutely. Before I do that, let me quickly say, because we want y'all to know that we are here. Hi Nicole, hi Libra, hi Cassandra, hi Terrell, hi Brianna, Shantira, and Chandra, and Kendall, and Brianna and Terrell, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Because that's a part of structure. You always want your audience to know that you know that they are there. However, I'm excited and thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Only a crazy person would do this. But so my question for you guys tonight to kick it off, we know what your definition of structure is. Uh, so now, what's your process for scheduling and outlining your work? We'll start with Mom Guru first.
So I like to, first of all, I love structure, and I love organization, however that may be to you. So I make my own timeline, but I try to make room in it. I want to start this way, but if something happens or go out the way, I always have a backup plan. But structure is again is something that just it can go one way or another. Again, what is whatever it means to that person. But structure gets you a long way. Structure gets you a long way.
Can you ask the question again? What you said? What is the process that we have? Uh,
Yeah,
we
your
don't.
your question again, it is what's your process of scheduling or outlining your work? Because again, like we said, you are a prophet, you are a business, you work in different aspects of business and of ministry. We'll put it like that. And so we would like to know, how do you schedule out time and for you for each aspect of your business for ministry? What do you do?
Okay, so because I am prophetic and I'm a big word person and definition person. Um, I I live by words and do my best to try to carry those different things out. So there's something that I heard TD Jake say quite some time ago that really helps me, and he says, "Don't fail in the same area consistently or back to back." So that's how I build my structure. Of
Wow.
course, I do have actual structure as far as like early is where I tackle as far as responding to emails, where I have retainer programs within my company, and my retainer clients are priority. Um, so I put that in place because I can allocate that time to what's already paid and what's already taken care of. I think it's very dangerous and hurtful for the creative as well as those that you work for to put um, a la carte from month to month and not actually have an understanding of what you have coming in. So I think you have to understand what it is, uh, what as far as looking at your calendar and being able to, like I do mine by I do it by the month, but I also do it again by the week as far as I look out, line out everything that I have to do as far as that week, as far as projects, as far as engagements, as far as video engagements, speaking engagements, all of that. And that's how I structure my time. And every now and again, if I do good, make a little extra money, then I can freelance. But I try not to get in my own way. And what I put in place, I try to keep it in place.
Absolutely. I agree. I guess I'll go ahead and answer that question and then he can take it off with her. Next, Ronald, thank you for joining us. Please make sure you guys go ahead and share, like, tag, invite, drop your questions if you have any. Uh, but I've actually come to realize that structure, okay, y'all might not agree, and I have a reputation for this, but structure is not the same thing as outline, right? Because your structure, though you may have an outline, the structure of a thing may not come out as such. And I'm not saying go and have a plan B, but I am saying that this is why it is important to have this structure, something that you can consistently flow off of, or something that brings your attention back to, hey, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I need to be doing. Because sometimes as creatives, we get so bogged out and doing everything, and we forget to um, actually focus on one thing. So that would be my definition of structure. Rather, um, it's something that is set in place to keep us to come back to what we were initially had in place. I guess I would say.
I like that.
Okay.
And y'all talk so much about stuff that I literally have notes about because there is a difference, and I try to make my clients understand that a calendar is one thing. So I may have my calendar for the month, and I know on each day of this month what I have going on. Then I have a schedule for each day. So what that day looks like from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. or whatever your operating hours are. Those are two different experiences of scheduling. And then even in that time, me, because I know I'm a creative and I have to process myself into structure, I then even in that time period, if I say I have a meeting from 9 to 10 and I have this from that time, in those time frames, I break down, okay, in my meeting, this is my outline, as Rico said, of what that meeting is going to look like. These are my talking points. And if you know yourself to be a certain type of person, um, some people may say that's over preparation. I think it's knowing yourself. Then you structure things in such a way where you set yourself up for success. Even when it comes to vacations, and my mom can talk about that. Like we went on trips with people. I leave myself time to breathe and enjoy myself. But if I'm going somewhere, especially that I've never been or that I want to do certain things, I'm gonna plan that out. Like we have a family vacation coming up. We have an itinerary. We have free time scheduled in there because there's nothing wrong with that. But we have structure to what we're doing so that as a group, it's 8 of us. We need to know what we're doing, where to be at what time. You know what I'm saying? And so just to say we're going to Vegas when we get there, we're going to check in and we don't know what we're doing for the next 5 days, kind of crazy. So, bits over now, hey, we're going to have dinner together night one. Day three, we're going to do this together and leave people time to do what they want to do. So it's just something about that word structure we get uncomfortable with. But I think when you define it, it makes things easier to manage. I also read a quote, and it just really, really, really stuck with me. It said that it is structure that enables creativity. Structure is necessary because structure and creativity have the same parentage. And this last part said, without structure, there would be nothing for creativity to level upon. And that really was so profound to me because we, as creators, we fear structure, but it's because there is such thing as structure, and there is a box that we can know we can go outside of the box.
Exactly. I totally agree because I think that that's again the thing that creatives and people that feel like because everybody want to be an entrepreneur and everybody want to be but entrepreneur don't mean you don't work. Honestly, I think entrepreneurs work harder than 9 to 5s because you clock in and you work for whatever you work or work on, depending on whatever the job is. But you work and then you can clock out and you can forget about that. And then you do your hours from on a week and then you can, expect your check. But there are certain different things, like one of the different things that I know my clients love that I always use as I say, I got as much to lose as you do. So, so if I fail in my creativity or in my plan of execution to service you, then it's not like I have a hobby. This is what we do day in and day out. So so I think that that's the definition that we should dispel or rewrite, where we have people that think that there is no box at all. There is a box. You just don't have to stay in the box, but there is a box.
I love that. I love that. You don't have to stay in a box, but know that there is a box. And then some things are there for our protection. And I see Austin dropped a question in the comments, and we're going to talk about that. I want to move into what I call the 4Ds, and I think it's going to kind of help us answer Austin's question. So I'll read his question and then I'll talk about the 4Ds. But he asked, how do you handle things not going to plan? Because some things may happen that'll cause a plan to be pushed back. And how do you handle that? And I know that all of us on here have dealt with that. So I want to talk really quickly about what I call the 4Ds. And it's do, decide, delegate, and delete. And when it comes to dealing with any issues that we have, and I got it from the Eisenhower Decision Matrix, where if you can picture it, you put a plus sign or a cross, whatever you want to call it, in the middle of a page. And the top is urgent and not urgent, and the left hand is important and not important. And
Right.
in that, you have do, decide, delegate, and delete. And you literally sit and ask yourself when you're faced with anything, is it urgent? Is it not urgent? Is it important? Is it not important? If it's urgent and important, you do it right then. If it's that critical. If it's important but not urgent, you can decide a time that you're going to schedule to do it later. If it's not important and urgent, then you can delegate, who can I give this to? Who can do this for me? And then lastly, if it's not important and not urgent, eliminate it because it's not necessary. And so in that vein, I think a lot of issues that we have stems from us not understanding the structure of prioritizing things. Um, so with Austin's question, and we all can talk about this, I am sure, you put a plan in place, you have a schedule. And one of the questions that I also put out to our guests tonight is when you schedule your life, your work, your business, do you leave room for change? I never schedule my entire day from start to finish every minute. So, same token, if I have calls, meetings, or I've learned this by trial and error. It's nothing that, you know, I just woke up and had an aha moment. It was trial and error of I don't go out of one meeting and into another. You have to learn your window of grace for that. But I have 45 minutes between meetings. Um, Things can go wrong, things can go overtime, things can start late. And so, for me personally, the first thing that I would do to handle something not going the way that it goes is use my built in time and space to address it. To where, oh, my meeting ran over 10 minutes. Now I don't have to call this person and say, I'm so sorry. Can I start our meeting later? Can I call you another time? Because that goes into everything else that I do. So now there's another side to that. If you don't build yourself in those time frames to have things go wrong or to adjust things, then you can have problems. Ma, I'm sure you can talk about that in your experience. What do you do when you schedule something, you plan something out, and it doesn't go the way that you've planned?
Well, that's when I come to the position, just like you were saying, let's see what's urgent and not urgent. If it's something that I know that's urgent and I can't do without, or we can't do without, then I make sure I have a backup plan for that. If it's something that's not as important or we can kind of wait on, I kind of put that aside or I'll have more time to take care of it. But that's when the structure comes in. If you know it's something urgent and it's important, you're going to have a backup plan. You don't want to panic because to me, whatever situation you're in, and I'm sorry, I'm a believer, I always pray first. Okay, God, lead me. What do I need to do? How can I handle this? And you always, I know some of us are a team of one or two. That's when you take advice from others. If you have someone else you can take advice with or someone else you can talk to, hey, I have this urgent thing and my backup not working. You have any suggestions for me or how can we handle this? Taking a breath and then God will lead you to take care of that situation. But it's always something that you can take care of.
It's always a solution. Sir Adrian, I know you have experience in that as well. What do you do, or what's your go to when something that you've structured out, because you have structured it? Let's be honest, you've done the work of structuring, but it doesn't always go to plan. What do you do?
Now I'm a little bit different in how I see things, and for me personally, I would say that you should fight harder in your structure or lean in, because I think like with me, like the things that I planned when I plan something, I've planned it. So I've already structured it. So I've already did the time and I've did everything, putting it into that position. So so I don't have a lot of different things going astray from what I planned because I planned it. If I have a lot of different things going, and I know they didn't say phrase it like that, but if I have a lot of different plans not going as planned, then I didn't plan it correctly.
I think that's a very valid perspective because there's a difference between having structure and things change. And there's, like you said, if it's consistent and if this is happening all the time, like I said, trial and error. I learned how much time that I personally needed between meetings or projects, or even like we discussed last session, when you're determining your term projects, I determined that because I was having errors. I was
Yeah.
realizing if I say I can do this in 48 hours and every time I got to get an extension, I can't do it in 48 hours. And so you have to go back to the table and say, my structure isn't right.
Right.
I need to put something different into place. And there's nothing wrong with that. We should, and I'm sure everyone on here can agree, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, um, you should be regularly evaluating your progress. From when you started day one to now, however long, however many years you've been in this, you've learned things and things change. So, if nothing else, I think I used the analogy last session, and Sir Adrian is on here today with Elrico. As a graphic artist, things that took him days and weeks before, he can do quickly now. He knows what he can knock out, what takes more time. The difference, with whether it's a static graphic or it's something with motion, he knows his process, but it doesn't take him the same amount of time to do today like it did then. And so we have to not be afraid of going back to the drawing board and saying something's wrong, something's always happening. The process isn't working out, and not be afraid to make those adjustments. I see in the comments, Terrell says sometimes things change, but you have to think about the worst case scenario and have those in plan because sometimes you can't afford to not have an answer. And that's that thinking ahead when my mom mentioned about having
That's
backup
good.
plans. And not even, I don't really per se, there's nothing wrong with it, but personally like the word backup plan. I like that we have routes for adjustment, that I left space for things to change. Because as Sir Adrian mentioned, my plan is still the same. My focus, my priority is still the same. I just am honest to the fact that it may take different routes. Is that clear? Does that um, answer those questions for you, Austin? You can let us know in the comments. Um, so we talked about those 4Ds, and that question really pushed into what we were talking about. I want to also give some tips here, some tangible things for time management, because honestly, everything that we're talking about falls under the umbrella of time management. Prioritizing, scheduling, leaving yourself space and room for things to change comes under time management. So I want to give you guys 5 tips that I've experienced for time management, and then I'm going to let our guests jump in on those. So my first is simply prioritize. We talked about the Eisenhower decision matrix and the 4Ds. Prioritize. Know what's important. Know what has to be done first, and know what doesn't have to be done at all, and know what you have time to do. And one of those D's was delegate. Do not be afraid of delegation. I've never been someone to micromanage. So if I put hands, I trust you. And if it's something that's outside of your realm, I shouldn't have given it to you. And I have to trust that you're going to do it well. Mistakes happen, and we'll adjust from there. But don't be afraid to delegate when you have that option. My second tip is avoid multitasking. This is hard for a lot of us because we would profess that we are great multitaskers. But what I've learned is that when you do a lot of things, you're always going to do one thing better than the others. It's hard to divide your focus and attention. And that's not opinion, that's scientific. That as humans, we have a capacity limit about our attention span, what we can handle, how many things we can do. And so I'm going to mention a method to you that I've practiced for a while, that not avoiding multitasking doesn't mean that I can't do more than one thing in a space. It means I have to do it compartmentalized. So I want to prioritize I want to know what's important, but I also want to avoid multitasking. But thirdly, you want to eliminate distractions. That's a big one for me. Anyone that knows me knows I am in some ways easily distracted. And so I build my workspace and I schedule and structure my time so that I'm not easily distracted. Our phones are, I think, the number one tool of distraction. And it's hard for some of us, and I'm sure that you can agree with me that
Oh man.
I use my phone for work. So then it's a
Yeah.
slippery slope of this is work related, but it's so easy to switch over
Flip off.
from my apps that I'm using for work and end up on a YouTube video watching baby ducks or TikTok and
Yep.
just
Yep.
I've lost
Just
30
randomly.
minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have to be smart about that. Sometimes I deliberately do certain things from my laptop and not my phone for that purpose.
That's
Or
good.
Exactly.
That's
if you
good.
have a home office, that can be a slippery slope sometimes. It's times that I go to a space outside of home just because if it's a time sensitive project or I know it's really heavy, I'll get away and go to another space because I need to be really focused.
Yeah.
Um, that fourth one, set boundaries. It's
Set
it's human
boundaries
nature.
and don't be ashamed or apologize for setting your boundaries.
It's human nature, but I think it's heightened among us as creatives that we have issues with that sometimes. Like I said, it's setting deadlines, saying no. I talked last session about having structure in place as far as contracts, having a writer, so that when even if it becomes a discussion of money, some of us get
Yeah.
uncomfortable. So if it's written down, we have boundaries in place. This eliminates that.
So quick
Um,
question.
mhm.
Quick question to Mom and Sir Adrian. What is a boundary in work? What is a boundary in work?
To me, a boundary is when, to a certain extent, when it's taking you off course, when it's taking you out of your vision. To me, so if it's taking you from where you shouldn't be, it should be out of boundary. You want to stay within boundary because you want to stay structured. You want to stay where you should be, so you can be successful in what you need to be. And I guess it's a
Okay.
type of boundary. It just depends on what the boundary is. But I want to stay focused. I don't want anything to take me off. So if you're going beyond that boundary and take me where I shouldn't be, then I shouldn't be there.
Yes, ma'am. Sir Adrian?
I would definitely agree. It's keeping what you need to keep in, and what you need to keep out. Especially if you are, because I think one of the biggest things as far as tonight's conversation is dealing with time. Because a lot of us are, I mean, it somewhat hit me in the chest when you just posted it, unconstructed time. I mean,
Unconstructed
how much
time.
time are we, wasting because we don't have boundaries to set in place because we're watching too many baby ducks, because we, rearing off or
Absolutely.
veering off. So I think, yeah, I definitely have to agree with mom, just making sure that, that we don't go outside of what it is that we've set in place.
And he segued. I got one more tip, but Rico, if you don't mind, can you go ahead and pose that question we have about unstructured time? Because it fits, and then we'll get that last
Yeah,
tip.
that's exactly what I was thinking. So, do you or have you, well, do you schedule room for adjustment? And or how do you schedule room for adjustment if you do?
I'll go first. I schedule room for adjustments. I do. I think that Shekinah's example is perfect for just life all the way around. I mean, it's. I think it's. I'm not gonna try to deviate because I know the probably the next way we're going. So I'll stay right here. But we shouldn't. We should make time because different things do change. One of the biggest things, as far as me, I'm talking about me personally, that has helped with that is deadlines, setting deadlines, time restrictions. And even my spiritual father was teaching quite some time ago. And I mean, even if you have to, because we was talking about just a moment ago how the internet and the apps and all of the different things that we have can become a distraction. You might have to go old school, get you a digital clock, get you a clock that don't have no Wi-Fi on it, get you a ticking clock if you can tell the the time that's not digital, and let that be your structure, because sometimes we go outside of the boundary, or we go outside of the our time, because we don't have no deadline, and we just do it and freelance it. So that's been a help for me. So setting deadlines and even putting myself on the clock. Say, okay, Adrian, you got so and so to get this done. So I save myself time, and then if I need to recommunicate or what's name, it helps to build myself, and then to see where I am, as far as, again, what we were talking about earlier, as far as like, okay, how long does it take to do this project? So I can properly tell my customer, okay, it's going to take so and so.
Yep. Mom.
For me as well, I definitely do. If my deadline is Wednesday, in my mind, my deadline is Tuesday. Again, that's when it comes with, let's say something does happen and urgent and off, or it's not how I want to, or the client get it early and say, you know what, I want to change a little something. I have time to change that, because I've made room for that.
And have y'all ever been surprised? This is the thing that's crazy to me personally, because I've realized I'm sometimes I'm driven by timelines, and if I have just unstructured time to just say, oh, I need to get this done, and there's no set time. Like you said, I've learned that I have to put if it's Wednesday, it's Tuesday, because otherwise I'll take my time. I'll do a little bit here.
I'm gonna interrupt
Netflix.
him because I want y'all to know something. Even I'm his best friend, or I'm one of his best friends, but I want y'all to understand something. We're not just talking about this because even if we're out going to a movie, do y'all hear me? This man is on you about time. You're gonna be here, here, and here. He's gonna map out time from here to here. Time from about to what time it's gonna take you to eat to about time it takes you to get there. He's gonna map out time, and every time we don't miss.
See,
Every
this is
time.
this is where I need some help in the comments. Anybody else other than me? I want to watch the previews. I want to know what's coming next. I've anticipated it. I'm a Marvel and DC fan. Am I the only one that I want to get to the movie in time to
Only
see
if it's
what's?
Marvel and DC, but it's not always Marvel and DC.
So and because I know me, I've structured that for myself, and I know that if I just have time to just, I'll get this done. Like I've taken school courses where day one you get the entire syllabus and you have any time to turn that stuff in, to where there's no checkpoints along the way. It's due by the last day. That doesn't work for me. I want to know week one. By Wednesday, the discussion board is due. By Friday, the homework is due, and the exam is Saturday. Because that works better for me when I have a deadline in place. And if I'm in something that doesn't have it, I set my own. Because I can have a lot of unstructured time and get nothing done, and have a little bit of structured time and get a lot done. Have you guys had any experience with that?
We'll start with mommy.
You ever had an
Yeah.
experience, Mom, with unstructured time versus having um, deadlines in place, or where you've had to place deadlines?
Yes. A lot of times unstructured, I feel like I'm all over the place. I don't like to feel unorganized, because when I deliver a product or I deliver something to my clients, I want it right. And if they see that I'm all over the place and I'm unorganized, then they're going to be like, you know what, this is my last time using her. Or I don't know if this product will be as good because, it's all over the place. Versus I'm structured, I have my everything together, I'm nice and polished, and I've made time, to take care of what needs to be taken care of. I present myself the right way, on paper and in person. Then to me, that goes a long way. I don't want anything that looks any kind of way or well unorganized, or something that you didn't put thought in, no
Did
matter
you
how.
say I present myself the right way?
Yes.
What does that mean?
As far as being well spoken, I'm put myself in my positions, or as far as that work with me. If I have someone to say, hey, I want this job, and they come talking in the kind of way I've had people with the little hair caps on and Daisy Dukes, and somebody had a picture of a naked person on it, that would make me second guess someone as far as hiring in an office position or a management position. You want someone to present themselves well because they're the spokesperson for your company, or you're speaking for your business. How are you going to sell yourself or your company? A lot of times people come through and they just look like, this, I wouldn't want to come here, or I wouldn't want to work here, or I wouldn't put my loved one's hands in someone that looked any kind of way. When I started, my first job was 15 years old doing HR, and I had two older ladies. And they'd tell me, baby, if she come in there with some jewelry on, or they come looking this way, throw it away. Don't even look at it. I try to be more open minded, but I also, as well, I'll talk to a lot of the young people, say, no, baby, present yourself, or, next time you come in, why don't you put this on, or wear this. So a lot of times, if they tell me I have an interview and they may not have the correct clothes, pass by my house, or I bring you something, or, I put some in my car and sneak something to you so you can look nice. Because I want to help them as well, because a lot of people don't know. But again, people will look at you and they'll take a second guess, and they don't want to spend their money with you because they feel like their money is not safe.
That is very true, and it's a double sided thing, like you were saying, because you want to give people benefit of the doubt, but as a business, as a brand, people view you by what they see, and so you, and that in turn, when you're hiring and you're doing certain things, and I'm even careful of some. It's all saying that all money ain't good money. I've learned I'm even careful about the engagements I accept, about contracts and about opportunities, because although it may be lucrative financially, it has a look to it.
And
Um,
can I say, or actually tag in Prophet Adrian as we start to wrap up? All money ain't good money. What does that mean, Prophet? All money
That
ain't good money.
that mean that certain things may not be a fit for your brand. So I said often in consultations, because one thing is that you can't operate your business like you operate your personal. So you should have compartments, and you should be like, you wouldn't know it because I get well. I'm well with people, but I love the cave. I'm an introvert. I love being by myself in my head. But I understand you can't be successful in business being that way. So you got to speak. So you got to be engaging. And so all money ain't good money. As far as with me, that means that we have to be a fit for each other. So, because there are a lot of different things that's funding dysfunction, or they're trying to buy
wow.
you to utilize your audience, utilize your influence, utilize your connections. And so people think just because you got a couple of dollars that you can do that. But do you fit my brand? Are you aligned with my values, my morals, goals? Or do those somewhat, are they in the same, arena? Because what you're doing, if you're doing children's books, and nothing wrong with explicit content, but again, certain different things don't mix. And so you're going to compromise what it is you do, and actually lessen who you are and what you are and your potential, because you're just going after the dollar.
Oh, that's good. That is good. As we do our wrap down, so I want to run back through, because we didn't get to our last tip for time management. I want to run back through. First was prioritize. Second is avoid multitasking. And we talked about ways that's good and bad. Third is eliminate distractions. And our fourth was set boundaries. And that fifth one is something that works for me. Do the hardest task when you feel the best.
That's good.
So some
I
people say
like
do the
that.
hardest thing
Yes.
first.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
won't say
like
that.
that. I
I'll
like
say do
that.
the hardest task when you feel at your best. If you're not a morning person, and don't do your hardest thing first thing in the morning, like people tell you I got energy, and I'm like, no. If wait until if afternoon, after you've eaten lunch, maybe when you're on a full stomach, in a better mood, whatever
Listen,
time you're at your best, do that hardest thing.
cuss who?
Um, So I wanna challenge our audience and family on tonight. I came across something. It was a time management method that was kind of developed in the 1980s called the Pomodoro technique, and it's something that I practice. And I'm hinted at it earlier. And I'm gonna run through this, and then we'll get a leaving word from our guest. But how this Pomodoro technique works. You block off time. You do 25-minute blocks of work. So if I start my day at 9 a.m., I'm going to work from 9 to 9:25. Every 25 minutes, I'm going to take a 5-minute break. So I'll do 9 to 9:25, and at 9:30, I return to work. And when I say a break, don't sneakily work. Don't take a call that has to do with work. Completely something separate with no ties to what you do as work. And then you're going to return back to work. Um, no more than 4 blocks at a time. So you can do 25 minutes, 5-minute break, 25 minutes, 5-minute break. No more than 4 blocks at a time. At that point, you're going to have to do a 30-minute or more break if you do 4 sets of a 25-minute work, 5-minute break. And my challenge to our audience tonight is to try that, to try to structure your time in such a way that you work, give it everything you got for those 25 minutes, give yourself a break. And I really want to see, honestly, in via comments, inbox, I want to see if that does anything for you. I want to see if that changes for you. If you have structure in place already, because one of the greatest things that I think time management helps with is burnout. And that's where we're gonna part from our guests hearing about that. Have they experienced burnout, and how did they come back from that, and even the journey of what led them to that. But I think one of the greatest tools that the enemy has is to exhaust us before we reach the full potential of what we're meant to do. And we aid in that by doing things improperly, by not having structure in place. Um, and so I want us to try that Pomodoro technique. I want to give us this week. And for me personally, when I started it, I noticed a difference in a matter of days. But I want us to try that. Work really hard for 25 minutes, take a 5-minute break. If we've reached 4 reps of that, and so we've worked, to that capacity, take a 30-minute break or more before going back to that next 25 minute of work. And I want to see what that does for us, because creativity is a powerful thing, but creativity is also an exhausting thing. And most creatives can admit that when we create from our entire being,
Yes, sir.
no matter what it is. No matter what it is, if it's multimedia, if it's graphics, you're using your mind, but your heart. As creators, we're heart people. If anybody's an Erica Badu fan, she said I'm an artist and I'm sensitive.
And I'm sensitive.
We pour everything that we do into whatever our art and our creativity is, and so it's taxing. That's why a preacher, when he preaches, or a photographer when he does a shoot, or a singer when they sing a song, whether it's their own or it's a cover tune, there's a bit of exhaustion when you've given it everything that you've got. And so I want us to try tools that are going to help us break up that monotony and not overexert ourselves, so that we can work smarter and not harder. So if you would, that's what I want you to do for me. And if you're on the live now and you can commit to that and you want to see yourself be more efficient, drop it in the comments. Drop it in the comments. I will try that.
Please do. Please do drop it in the
Drop in the
comments.
comments.
And
I will
that's
try that.
the best
And we're here
segue.
with you. If you
That's the
need
big
somebody
that's
to walk
the segue.
alongside you and say, hey,
Yeah.
listen, that first 25 minutes I was good and I took my 5-minute break, but that second
But I
one
don't
I was
got
on the
that
verge
other
of getting
5
something
or
done.
10. Right.
I was almost done and I had to go 2 minutes over. Limit your set a timer, set an alarm, and I want you to try that and see what it does for you. In that 25 minutes, you're gonna give it all that you got, but it's gonna also make you have a higher work ethic, because hey, in 2 minutes I gotta stop. I can't do nothing. And take
Absolutely.
that break. And let's see what that does for you.
So you want
Rico,
to
I'm
end it
gonna
with
let you lead
the
us.
quick tip?
Go ahead. And I'm gonna let you lead us into our two guests giving us the walkout for if they've ever experienced burnout and what that looks like.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in to the show tonight, or this second episode. Again, if you want to retune into this episode, it will be available tomorrow on all digital platforms where podcasts are available. So you didn't miss anything because you can come back. You didn't see us here public. And we're going to get a lot more in detail and start showing you guys structured and platforms and such what we use. But quick tips really quickly because I always give them out. If you've never heard of Honeybooks and you are a creative and you're talking about scheduling invoices, guess what? QuickBooks is for you because you don't you may not know how to do it. QuickBooks will walk you through it and it'll teach you how to set it up, how to set taxes, how to make sure you are promptly working on others' projects. And you can also set that QuickBooks to this other app called Monday and it sets your scheduling of how you're going to post and such. And I'm going to say the last thing and it's all about scheduling, right? Scheduling inspiration. Set your phone alarm and just say schedule inspiration. And whenever you set that alarm, let whatever your mind do, let it do. Maybe you have to listen to a song, maybe you have to watch a little something. Don't get distracted, but find something that's going to inspire what you already do to push you further. And so now, with that being said, those were your quick tips of the night. And so we'll start with mom because always ladies first. Thank you guys again so much for tuning in. But now, because it's something I had to learn, it is definitely something I had to learn. And we're not asking these questions just because, or we're not doing this just because, rather, but have you, Mom and Sir Adrian, have you ever experienced what we call burnout? And what did you do to get rid of it?
So I have experienced burned out, taken, I guess, upon more than I can chew. Um, like you guys said, all money is not good money. So I'm seeing all of this money that I can make if I take up on all these jobs. And it became overwhelming because it was just me at the time. So that was very overwhelming. So I had to learn to manage my time. I had to learn that all money is not good money. And I had to turn some things down until I was more organized.
I definitely experienced burnout. Being a creative and then having certain uh, control issues from a good standpoint of, some may call it perfectionist. We've gotten better, much, much better, but wanting to make sure everything was right and everything was done. Experience burnout most definitely. And how I got it back is I learned that rest is a weapon and I
Ooh,
learned how to rest. I learned how to shut my mind off because again, sometimes it was very, very challenging for me because again, when you have a project and you are adamant about getting it done, but it hasn't come to you yet, especially if we're, in church or spiritual, Shekinah was saying, we're hard people, so you got to feel it. Some days you don't feel it, and sometimes because of your bills and obligations, you got to press through. But sometimes the best way to press is to release. So it's not
mhm.
to lean in. Most of the time in black culture will tell you keep going, keep going. No, you're gonna kill yourself. Pull over, go to the park. You just said it. Play some music, dance. Like ain't nobody around. I mean, do whatever you got to do to reset. What it is that you're thinking about. To that's again the creatively part of the structure. So yeah, we know we need the structure. Yeah, we know we need to get it done. But don't forget the creative part of it and
Of
doing
relief.
it because you love it and that's what you
Yeah,
want to do and not because it's a mandate and you got to get it done. So that's what helped me.
absolutely. And man, I couldn't say it anymore. I've experienced it so many times. I've had my best friend get on me about taking a break, stopping because he
Yeah.
knows I work. I have, my fiance getting on me all the time. Take a break, chill out. But rest is a blessing, as Libra would say. And That's such a great segue to end out tonight. So again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Understand, your creativity is nothing without structure. It's 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 like having a gift and it being untrained. It's not gonna produce anything until, well, it drains you. And it's going to drain you. So you have to learn that structure. Everything we said tonight, again, you can go back and tune in on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts at, and go back, write down these tips. Go back, put them to work because faith without work is dead. So if you don't do any work, nothing will get done. I promise. We've tried it. We all have
Oh,
tried
we
it.
know.
But
I,
that faith thing without work is dead. That's that structure. You want to talk about structure in Bible? Faith without work. Your structure is work. You have the faith, but your structure is work. You put that structure there and it's gonna make it go smoothly. You gotta trust the plan.
Come
So
on, mini
I have
sermon.
nothing else to say. I'm sure we've all given you what we've given you. Please tuned in. Sorry, tuned. Wow. Yep. Structure, exactly. Tune in on April 5th, 2023 at 7:30 p.m. CST to go deeper into creativity. We've talked about structure tonight, and we're not going to keep talking about the same thing. Let me go ahead and help you. We're not going to keep talking about the same thing. So that's why we have the episodes out and available. You'll be able to go even and be able to watch it back and see our faces and all of the craziness because we said we're going to begin to show you guys things and things that we've worked on. We're going to show you our own profiles, how we broke them down, and all of that. So make sure you stay tuned. And my last words is you can't take God, don't go. And don't be like the man that built his house on the sand because it will always wither and it will always leave. Find some structure. You got this. Okay, back to you.
I love you all. I thank you for taking your Wednesday evening for joining us. I see in the comments, I see Libra, I see Terrell, I see comments saying that I learned a lot and I needed this. And this is why we do it. Because all of us that you see on here, we've learned things the hard way. And I think our assignment as pioneers, because I think we're all that, is to take what we've learned, the experiences, and to share that with someone so that they can do it another way or they can have an upper hand. And so I appreciate you guys taking out your Wednesday night to join us. Again, I leave you with the homework Pomodoro technique 25 minutes of work. Give it everything you got. 5 minute break. Like they said, you can use that 5 minutes to listen to music. You can dance like no one's watching, sing, whatever you want to do in those 5 minutes. Go back to work. 25 minutes. After 4 cycles of that, after if you've took your fourth break and you go back to work, you got to take a longer break. 30 minutes. We love you all. We'll see you guys on the 5th. It's going to be a little bit of a different look, but same great content. Thanks again for joining us for Creating and Structuring. Have a great night.